Welcome to Card On Over Coffee. Please remember to join us live Monday through Friday on Twitter Spaces at 1:30 p.m. UTC, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Joining us today is Summon Platform. Their aim is to make DAOs on Cardano easy for everyone with scalable voting, transparent yield, and on-chain security. Don't forget, we'll be at Rare Evo in Denver, Colorado, August 24th through the 26th. Get your tickets now at rareevo.io. Use discount code COC10 for 10% off your cost. Grab your coffee, and let's get right to it with Summon Platform.
Real quick, I'm sure most people here knows about Summon. I don't know why JP has his hand up. Straight from the team's mouth, what is Summon trying to do, and then what's launching later today?
Yeah, really, it's a place for community formation and management, right? So, whether you're a business, whether you're a project, an NFT project, a charitable organization, right? It's a place for you to manage that. So, it's a place for you to manage your treasury, your funds, your tokens. It's a place for you to poll and, come to consensus with your communities. It's a place for you to organize and manage sub-DAOs and working groups within that larger community. So really it's a place to create and manage a project. If you're doing anything on the blockchain, you need a few of these basic things. And it's just been really kind of cumbersome, right, to manage all of this. Everything's sort of hacked together. It's early and everything's been hacked together and sort of not together. Right? You're using different apps to accomplish these things that are, like I said, the basis for any project. So Summon was really about bringing those together, right? Having those all in one place. And then from there, having a place where you can actually interact with and integrate with all the other apps and things on Cardano.
Yeah. And I'll say what TCT is saying, how, especially in other ecosystems, right? Especially when you look at Ethereum, where you have Gnosis Safe, you have Snapshot for voting, all these different platforms are very separate and you have to sort of put together your stack and go to different places. With Summon, like Cardano, we have second mover advantage. So we can look at what others have done. We can figure out what people need based on what they have used from other ecosystems and what they've used from our ecosystem, based on our experience with helping people use Roundtable. And we can say, okay, let's build this platform. So the first 3 modules that we are rolling out later today are going to be the community module, where you come in, you name your community manager. Right now, there has to be a person as your community manager. In the future, you'll be able to control that with the Agora DAO setup. And then once you have a community manager, you can establish your placeholder on the site. And you can say, here's my community. It's the Summon community. Then you say, okay, now that I have a community, I'm going to associate a multisig with it. So I can identify this is my treasury. My community manager can identify who the signers are, or we can have other people who are authorized to set up a multisig. We're going to say, let's set up a 3 of 5 multisig, so that we have to have 3 signers out of 5 sign in order to release funds, release assets from the treasury. And just like Roundtable, this treasury can take any Cardano native asset. So you can send NFTs, you can send fungible tokens, you can send ADA, and it'll be completely transparent. You can put your ADA handle in there and let people know. Go to pool.pm, look for this ADA handle, and you'll be able to see our project treasury, our community treasury, and we will be transparent about what comes in and out of this treasury. And then we also have the fee-free polling feature. And for the polling, we basically people sign the votes with their Cardano private keys, right? So the community manager or the polling manager, who can be designated, sets up the vote. They designate these are the tokens that are going to be used for the voting. So maybe I have an NFT, and I'm going to give that NFT a really high weighting for how much that is worth in the vote. Then I have all these fungible tokens that are related to my project. And I'm going to say that the NFT is worth 20 times the amount of votes that a fungible token is worth, because there's a lot more fungible tokens out there. And then our platform will take a snapshot of the blockchain and allow everybody who holds those tokens in their wallets to vote. And then once they vote in your poll, you can collect the results, and the people who vote don't have to pay any fees. Now, the person who sets up the poll, we are going to ask, pay a small fee because we need to keep the platform running. But the people who vote don't have to go through a transaction fee on chain because we will collect the votes in our system, and it will be tied to their cryptographic hash, right? So that they will be able to verify that they are the only person who could have made that vote. And we're going to be rolling out a feature where you can then publish that vote also on the blockchain for people to see. So that's kind of where we're starting. Soon after today, we will be rolling out Agora DAO and DeFi integrations, and just like TCT said, looking for additional things to do for coordinating people, like communication platforms.
That was a lot. Let's jump back a little bit. So you said 3 modules. There's polling and what else?
Sorry, 3 modules are polling, multi-sig, and community.
Multi-sig and then community. Polling makes sense, right? So that's what you're just talking about. Maybe there's some more questions about that shortly. There's multi-sig, and that's like the roundtable like functionality. What is this community module?
Yeah, and if I may, Lido, really quick, let's just very basically go through them, right? Obviously, multi-sig. Most people are already familiar with that. They've used Roundtable. They understand what it is. The polling feature is really cool because it's so dynamic, right? Like Adam was explaining, there's just so much to it. And I think that's why you said, oh, wow, it's so much, because it is, right? You have the ability to create a poll. You have the ability to either upload a list of addresses or configure a snapshot. And it's so dynamic because you're able to configure multiple snapshots, right? And use multiple tokens. So you can have a vote with an NFT that's weighted 10 votes per NFT, plus a fungible token that's weighted 1 vote per token. You can also delegate and undelegate your vote in real time. So, that's what makes it so dynamic, and that's what makes it like possible to then start using this thing for other things like DREPs and like creating, multi-sigs or groups of people that act as a representative. So that's the polling feature. And then you have, the foundation to it, which is the community formation, right? Where you can actually go on the platform, create your community, and then from there attach things like sub-communities, like, an ADAO, some people call them working groups, or sub-DAOs. You can attach these different polls, and then you can obviously attach treasuries like the multi-sig treasury, and even things like the Agora DAO contracts, right, to these communities or sub-communities.
Oh, so a community is like a bucket for you to attach things to, like a way to organize, basically. Yeah. Because it's not it's not like a social media thing that people like join, right? It's like, I'm in this community.
Well, if you have, if you create a community that's based around a token, right? Then yeah, all you would have to do is have.
Do you get to say that? Do you get to say this community is for this token, or do you just get to attach these other things like a poll to it?
You can do both. So if what we're allowing is, if a project wants to say we're making a community for our token, they can make a community for their token, and they can say, this is the official community for our token. We're going to do regular polls for it. Our multi-sig is like coming from the treasury. And we are actually going to offer verification where we will say, we will talk to teams and make sure that they are who they say they are, and have a verified project portion of our listing where we say these guys have the blue check mark, so to speak, and verify them. But it's a permissionless system, so anybody can make any community they want.
But it's not like they're replacing Discord with it.
Well, yeah, there's one question though. It's because it's not a messaging service, right? Like through Discord.
It's to do specific
It
things.
doesn't do those things.
Yeah, but the I'm still not clear on the community part. So if I create a community that's attached to a token, would the platform enforce any privacy then? So that if someone doesn't have that token, they can't see our things?
No, we do not have those features at this time. Right now, our platform is just as transparent as the Cardano blockchain.
Okay. Right. So yeah, because like on other the community type management website, if you have a community and it's gated, right, then people have to be in the community to see some of that stuff. But this is a different concept.
Yeah, and just to be clear, so at this time, you cannot create a gated community. That's something that we're definitely going to integrate in the future, right? But at this time, no. It's like you said in the first place, Lido, you would actually create this community, and then you're able to attach things to it via the token, right? Or a list of addresses.
What would it take for us to have that? Like midnight?
No, it'd be very simple, right? You could manage it just on the DB, right? You'd have the ability to create a community, and then unless there was a specific token in the wallet, right, or a specific list of addresses, they wouldn't be able to see it or access it on the front end, right? Any on-chain information would obviously be available.
That's what I'm saying. Like the on-chain part can't be.
Well, I mean, so that's another point of clarification too right now. So even the community stuff, the polling stuff, none of that is on chain, right? The only thing that's on chain maybe is the multi-sig, or at least in a script type thing. But the rest of it is you guys are managing that off chain.
Well, at the moment, right, you'll notice that in the future you will have the ability to manage those permissions on chain. But correct, right now it's managed through the DB.
Let's go to some audience questions. Did you have anything else pending on Cook Time?
Not right now. I mean, I'm going with it. Like I spent a couple hours with someone last week, so
me too.
Yeah, so but I'm enjoying your questions, so that's great. Let's see what Matt has to say.
Hey, I have 3 questions. All right, the first one is, how do you audit the vote? Is there an audit trail that can be revealed to certain people to confirm things?
Yes, when the vote is taken, all of the votes are put into a list, and so you can see the cryptographic. You can see the wallet that voted, and you can see their cryptographic signature. So you see like the wallet, the cryptographic signature, and the vote, and so that way you can verify that yes, this person did indeed vote that way, because they wouldn't have been able to make the private. You can match that signature to their public key.
So then the second question is, how much of this process is of like a push versus a pull? Do I have to have my people watching the chain and watching the Summon platform to find that there is a new poll being made?
Yeah, you would need to have your probably alert your community that there's a new poll, so that they would go and look at it, because they could just go to your designated community and look at your community and see like, oh, hey, there's a poll up here. But we don't have any alerts built in right now for people to have that pushed to them. So they would have to go look themselves, and you could alert them on yourself.
My third question is, if all of my fungible tokens, UTXOs, are contained within a smart contract, would they be eligible to vote, or would the smart contract be the one that's eligible to vote?
That is a great question. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, so fortunately, yeah, I'm not sure if it'll be actually live tomorrow, but that is a feature that we have been working on and will integrate, right? You'll have the ability to actually use and vote with tokens that are in contracts.
So if you've staked your Indigo tokens, then you can still vote with them, essentially.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's not specifically to Indigo, but like in that kind of a use case.
Yeah.
Luckily, we have the ability to do that on Cardano.
Is there a way to only allow the staked tokens to vote?
Yeah. So there's a couple ways. I think practically what you would want to do, right, is use a lot of times you'll get issued like an LP token or something like that. That would probably be the best way to go about it, right? Is like to use that policy ID from that LP or Q token, whatever it is, as the voting token. Because that's what you would want to do, right? You would want to, like you said, you're not using the actual token, you're using the stake token. So depending on like how those tokens are staked, yeah, there's a couple ways you can do that.
And like Tom is saying, if someone has deposited like provided liquidity, for instance, and they have an LP token, you can have the LP tokens be used for the vote. If they hold the LP tokens in their wallet, we do not yet have implemented the ability to look at the LP tokens that are in the contract. So like if you have them like farming or something, you can't do that yet. But Tom and I have both been told by Riley and DZ that is something they are working on.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Congratulations on building such a great product.
Wow, so many hands. Let's go to Nate next. What's up, Nate?
Hey, thanks, guys. Quick question on, so when a project signs up and they get their own portal, when they're assigning a sort of a weight value to the vote mechanisms between the NFTs and the tokens, can they dynamically adjust that, or do you set that as a ratio? Like what if the coin price spikes dramatically? Is there a way to go back in and retroactively change the vote weight, or can you set it towards a ratio, or how does that work?
So not for that particular snapshot, but sure, if you did another one, definitely. Like any poll you create, you'll have the ability to configure the individual snapshots for the individual tokens, right? And that's when you give them a weight. So if you create a poll, configure a snapshot, give the tokens a weight of 1 vote per token, that's it, right? That snapshot will be taken. And once that snapshot's taken, you're given the voting power. So there's no way to change that. But if you wanted to configure a new poll right after that, obviously you can configure it however you want.
And then a follow-up, sorry if you said this before, is the snapshot epoch-based, or is it when you push out the poll?
Yep, you'll be able to actually select that, right? So you'll have a date for when the voting begins and ends, and then you'll have another date you select for when the snapshot is
It's slot-based, so you basically tell what slot you want it on.
Beautiful, thanks, guys.
Block Dog.
Yep, go ahead, Block Dog.
Hey guys, first off, congratulations on all of the hard work. I know it's not easy, and every single person that's a part of this, I just want to congratulate. So way to go. And then the question I have is surrounding, on your website, you talk about DeFi access, and you can access Summon's platforms, DeFi yield-bearing strategies to help your DAO prosper. Can you speak on that a little bit?
That's hard to speak on because that is one of the modules that is still in the work. Basically, what we're doing is because of the way we're formed, we are able to have different modules that integrate a lot of other platforms. And so we've been talking with other organizations about like, hey, what would it take to have maybe your your platform be a module within Summon where we work with your APIs or SDKs or whatever to have a portal for our users to use you as part of our platform. That's going to take a little more time to work out, but we want to make it so that when you have a multi-sig, you will be able to go in and out of those platforms, and you will be able to have some of those strategies working for you. Unfortunately, since it's still in the works, we don't have a lot of other details to share at this time.
Well, sure. And just so you know, just to be clear, like a lot of that has to do with how these contracts are written, right? A lot of contracts originally weren't written to allow for interoperability. They only allow interactions from like a pub key, right? So we need them to allow interactions from a script address. And a lot of them you'll see are coming out with V2 contracts where they have added that. So there's a couple. I know there's at least one that we've already started integrations with. And yeah, as other protocols sort of wise up to that and start building their contracts for that, that's definitely top priority, right? that is the point of, using the multi-sig or treasury on Summon is having the ability to, like you said, interact with marketplaces and dApps and other script addresses. So that's high priority.
Cool. Yeah, and I think it's really important because if DAOs are going to run and be successful, right, you also need to think about your financial strategy as well. And having somebody in your corner that has strategies built in that are low risk, maybe low yield, but that's okay. But you at least protect the asset that you have in order to ensure, even in a down market, that you can survive it, right? So it's extraordinarily important. So it's almost like a CFO in your pocket, is the way I like to look at it. And I'm really excited that you guys included that in there, at least with the website. And that's a future thing that's coming because it's extraordinarily important for success. Bull markets are easy. Bear markets are a little tougher. But we want these projects to succeed, right? And stick around for a while. So awesome. Thanks, guys.
Well, speaking of finances, we mentioned one fee so far is when creating a poll. What other kind of costs to the community manager are there going to be? What can you say more about your other fee structures?
Sure. So the basic fee structure, we'll be publishing an article later today when we post the live link. But basically, you'll pay us a fee when you create a community because we need to have some way of running the platform. And then when you create a multi-sig, though, we will not charge a fee to create a multi-sig because we figure creating the multi-sig is the easy part. We want you to be able to do that and to park your money here on the platform so that you feel good about having your assets secure. Now, in order to interact with the multi-sig, we'll have a very small fee for each transaction. And that will be something that is going to be like a lot less than you would see from, like, let's say Gnosis Safe or something like that with some of the other products on the market. And that's just because we're doing the coordination servers. And then the polling has a fee per snapshot. And you know what, TCT, do you think I should just go ahead and just read the fees off? Because they're not going to change. So it might make more sense now that I'm saying it. I'm like, why don't I just tell them?
That sounds great. I like that. Oh my gosh. Jenny, where'd you go?
All right, guys.
She's shuffling.
Of course, TCT didn't answer. He's like,
TCT didn't answer because he's like, Adam's going rogue here. Adam's going rogue. I'm just going to make the decision and say, you know what, guys, let's just do it here. Let's do it now. We're doing it live. We're revealing this fee structure for the Summon platform, and I do want to tell you that these are subject to change as we develop the platform, and if we find anything drastically wrong. But this is what's set to go live later today. This is like what's programmed into the system. So to create a community, we're going to ask for 150 ADA. However, if you are using summon tokens, you only have to pay 1/3 of that value. To do a multi-sig transaction, we're just going to ask for 1 ADA worth of summon for each transaction. And then to create a poll, basically just 5 ADA worth of summon if you only have a few people to poll. If it's a larger one, then we'll ask for a little bit more. But that's pretty much it. We're still figuring out the fees for DAO actions and for DeFi interactions, but that's the basic structure.
Neat. More follow-up on that shortly after we go to Nate. What's up, Nate?
Hey, you. Quick question: after the snapshot's been completed and the poll has concluded, does the project get an exportable result list of who's participated in that vote session?
Yeah, sorry. Obviously, yes. So you will have a list of addresses. You'll see it right there on the interface that have voted.
But you cannot export it yet, right? Because I believe I asked the same question last week and I was told that not yet, but maybe later.
Yeah, but I think it prompted them to get on that. So you will.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be live today, but I think very shortly you'll have the ability to not only export it, but actually save it on chain if you want.
Dope. Was there more to that, Nate?
No, obviously I think that's understood with the intent to be where the project's going to reward the members, correct?
Say that again?
Yeah, I was just saying, obviously the intent of that would be to reward the members who participated in some way off the platform or something. Would you guys think about having a way to reward them on the platform?
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I mean, and it would be pretty simple, right? If you have a list of addresses, then you could simply upload, a a CSV file. If they're already on the platform, you can just take them from there. And then, like you said, use that list of addresses to distribute some kind of reward.
Yeah, that would be a service in itself.
Yeah, that seems like a great feature for the multi-sig, where you can start a transaction by importing a list of addresses or something. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
You know what the suggestion forum is, Darlington.
So questions about the summon token. You already mentioned one thing. Day one, I know back in the day, when Riley was going all gung-ho and crazy and flooding out a project, one of the promises he made to the universe is that on day one, summon token will have utility. Day one's here, right? What's the utility?
Absolutely. As we mentioned, the utility of the summon token is that on day one, you will be able to put that summon token in your escrow, in your fee escrow, and it will get you at minimum 50% off any fees. So we haven't scheduled any votes yet for the platform. That's one of our other sources of utility, is that as a holder of summon tokens, you're a member of the summon DAO, and the summon DAO is entrusted to help guide the actions of the summon platform, such as, should we change the fee structure, or should we prioritize building one feature over another? We haven't scheduled any of those votes yet, but we are already going to offer the discount so that you can spend those summon tokens that you have and get a discount on setting things up.
I don't know. You mean we can't vote yet? That was the main utility of this token, wasn't it?
You know what? I'm gonna have a vote then, and the vote is going to be nice pool versus Cardano.
Well, so if I may,
this is supposed to be a governance token. So when can we govern the thing? I'm even surprised that it's being used as a currency right now. If you're paying fees with it, I thought summon token was gonna be a governance token.
It is.
Is the fee thing a new thing?
No, what I said was we haven't scheduled any votes yet. We will be scheduling votes, asking the community, what do you want to do in these cases? It's just that we have the rollout planned, and as we roll these things out, we have to get through our initial rollout.
Yeah, but don't you feel like paying fees in summon token should have been a vote?
That's a good question.
Because is it a governance token or not?
It's a utility token. So it's not purely a governance token. It's not purely a anything. It's a token. Technically, the definition of the token is it provides access to features of the platform. And so some of those will be guiding the platform. Some of those mean that you get to vote for the representative to the summon assembly when we have the assembly meeting later this year. And then some of those mean that you will be able to set the parameters of the platform, and as well as get the discounts. So we're trying to give it a lot of different features of utility. We're trying to not close the door on that.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I still think.
But are you suggesting that people just have to like someone has to ask for everything they want to do to the community?
The fee seems like an important decision. Not everything. They shouldn't ask if the button should be orange or if they should, create a poll. It just seems like paying fees with the token seems like a decision that the community should have a voice in, maybe.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. And again, it's just one thing, Jenny, not everything.
No, I'm just saying because, you said it should have been like that. I mean, it could have been, but doesn't necessarily. I mean, there's some autonomy there for the project too, right?
I see where you're coming from, Darlington, I guess I see where you're coming from. I'm just going to say that I think we have to start somewhere, right? And so we came up with what we think is a really good starting point. And we're definitely going to be like consulting the community to say like, hey, where do It's been we've gotten through launch day. We're going. How do you feel like it's going? Do you think like we should continue on this path, or do you think that we should adjust the fees? Do you think that we should make the like not give as big of a discount for spending your tokens, or should we not do it at all? I mean, we can ask that question. I think it would be a good thing to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And and then I'll get the UTCT just to address Jenny comment about should I be asking everything. I mean, maybe I just got given different expectations in the beginning when this thing was talked about. But I was under the impression that Summon was going to be ran very differently than what we've seen in the space so far when it comes to running a DAO and like including the community, right? That's part of where the question is coming from. Is some of those expectations that I maybe falsely misinterpreted from Sir Riley and TCT back in the day. What's up, TCT?
Well, no, yeah, perfect, because that's what I want to kind of think a little deeper about. So a lot of times when we talk about governance and DAOs, it seems so simple. Although, if you've ever been a part of one, not much gets done in a real DAO if you sort of just launch that way from the beginning, right? Nobody does anything. And so that's what you have to really consider when you are launching a project that is a serious project, right? It's not just, kind of do whatever you want. Like we have a goal where we're building a substantial platform here, right? And so, yeah, my sort of dream and vision is to where, this platform is run by the token holders on chain. But if that were to be configured right now, nothing would get done, right? Those thresholds would never be reached because not enough people would actively vote and it would be dead in the water. So
okay, that feels like a cop out.
Well,
there's always fallbacks, right? There's always
do light donation
like that. Position.
Well, no, hold on. Let's really talk.
No, I agree with TCT, dude.
Yeah,
like it took us 8 months to do the whole space funds thing. I can't even imagine if that would have been like the community managing the rails.
Like,
oh my God.
You're saying
we would have been dead.
You're saying it's all the people or it's all the team? When it could be both people then team.
No, because that's what it is.
And then team both. Take over if we don't meet the threshold. Right?
Well, no, because that's just a facade, right? Like I said,
it's not a facade,
you have to.
Though.
But internally, do you guys do it like that? Like internally, do you guys like take votes and decision making with that, or no?
We take a lot of feedback from the community, right? Like,
no, but amongst yourself, like when you decide, like, yeah, we're going to use this token for that, or is that just like?
We usually just try to get into a meeting and try to hash out in a meeting and say, like, hey, what are the ramifications of this? How should we consider it? If we go with like this one fee structure, what will it look like versus this other fee structure? That's how we, for instance, arrived at the fee structure. And it's like I said, you have to start somewhere. That's why we came up with what we're starting with, and we want to start having votes from the community to see where the sentiment goes moving forward.
Yeah, and I want to bring it back to reality again real quick because, yeah, think about anything you do like this. That's how it usually goes, right? You reach consensus well before you have to do any kind of token voting. And if you set something up to where all you had was token voting, it wouldn't go anywhere, right? If you needed 60% of Puffy Coin to vote for every decision, you would never do anything. And so...
Again, why is the extreme of all you need?
Well, because if you want to truly govern something on chain, then that's how you do it. You can't say, oh, this is a real DAO, it's governed on chain, but also have a back door to where if you don't like something, you can just go ahead and override it.
It's not an override. It's a threshold thing. It's like we need to reach 60% or the summon. What is it called? The summon. The other body. The
summon association.
The association, right? Like otherwise, they need to reach that threshold. Like either we get this threshold or that threshold.
But technically, I mean, if you look though at the The way we have represented it going forward, though, it's the Summon Association is entrusted with building the platform and putting the platform out as a product for people to use for their own DAOs. And then the Summon member community was formed to inform the association as to how they think it should be built and governed. So,
but does the association work as a DAO? Do you guys have a do you guys vote?
Right.
This is my question, because that's what we do on space votes. For example, with Alessandro doesn't make decisions on space votes on his own. Like, we have a team now, and now we vote on these things. And then what we don't vote amongst ourselves, we take to the community. So it's like a mix of the two. But it's just not arbitrarily anymore. Like, we just have these meetings, and then we vote on it. And we're constantly voting on these things.
Yeah, no, you're right, Jenny. And so we're talking about a lot of different things. So yes, the association, the labs, they all hold all their funds in multi-sigs. And we have to reach consensus to actually do anything, right? And then not only that,
for funding though, right? Not like decision. Like you're not documenting decision on chain among the associations. It's just sending money.
No, rarely do we ever have to take a vote, right? We reach consensus well before that, and then our votes are really our signatures on those transactions, right?
Right, but again, those transactions are all about moving value, not deciding something with the platform so far.
Correct.
Well, I mean, they made decisions like using the summon token too.
Right. Well, that was not an on-chain. You have to sign this thing that represents the association agreed to this.
Because they do a lot of agree. They agree. They reach consensus. I think that's what Sensitive was saying.
No, but not on chain though. Is what I'm saying, right? Like the on-chain stuff has been about moving value so far.
So. No, but as a legal organization, the association doesn't have to do these things on chain. We have a project that we have to work with our team for the project on, and then we have a lot of things where we want to take it to the community. And to be honest, that's just starting. We're just getting the starting point of that. So it's not like we don't feel like we have a lot of things that we can point to as like this is something that we didn't consult the community on because we're just rolling it out now.
Riley, what's up? Hey, you out? Does that mean all the things looks great under the hood?
No, it means that I felt like I had something to say, and I'll probably pop down here in a second. Everything's looking good for the most part. I'm waiting.
But you're kind of cutting off, or you're really far.
Yeah, you're low.
Riley.
You're coming through a little low.
Hey, is this better? You might hear my my cat meowing in the background this time, but hopefully you can hear me better. So. What I was saying is basically the platform's looking good. I'm waiting on DZ, who is sleeping, getting some good Z's. He was working all night sleep, so he'll be up here in a little bit over an hour, and then we will sort of make sure that we're happy before switching things over. But yeah, we're definitely still on the right timeline. I came up because I think the point that I really want to nail home is what Adam continues to bring up, and it's that we have to start somewhere, right? We definitely would like to take community sentiment on as many of the decisions as we make as possible, because obviously the community is not just community, it's our client base, right? We are a DAO tooling platform. And I don't know if I would say that Summon in and of itself is a DAO. There's a DAO with Summon, right? Summon has a DAO, but I don't think that calling Summon a DAO would be the right way to go, because there's like, at this point, I think 5 or 6 different companies that make up what you could consider the Summon ecosystem. And so, I mean, are you going to say that one of those companies is liable or responsible to hold up the decisions of some community on Cardano, right? I think that's something to kind of consider. But then, like I said, we want to take community sentiment as often and as early as possible. We did have some discussions about the potential for our token to be used for discounted fees previously, and we've talked about the potential for it to be used to pay fees previously within the platform. So it's not something that's sort of just being brought up now. Could we have run a sentiment poll using a testnet token? Sure. Could we have done it on mainnet using a mainnet token? Potentially, but then we would have to basically launch without these kinds of mechanics present. And the issue that we saw with that is we definitely needed to be putting fees in into this platform, and we wanted to be able to provide utility where possible. So we kind of, if you want to consider it jumping the gun on adding that utility to the token, you could consider it that. We definitely didn't think that anybody would be opposed to the general utility, and I haven't heard a single person question that utility.
I've heard one.
I mean, I've heard Lido.
No.
Lido's questioned the process, not the utility.
Oh, but now you
right?
can have a poll and show Lido's
like Adam said.
Well, no. My whole point here is.
1 second, Lido.
Go ahead, finish.
My whole point is that, like Adam stated, we have to start somewhere, and we would like to gather community sentiment, but the platform wasn't live for us to run a poll on the platform. And once the platform's live, we wanted to sort of, again, get this going and have things ready out of the gate. And then that way, if the community does vote to change this or completely remove that utility, it's a lot easier to go in from a technical standpoint, as I'm sure you're aware, to just turn off that utility than it is to go and implement all of the things behind it, right?
So as a sizable summon holder, when I was buying those tokens, one of the things that I was told is that I would be able to have some level of governance. I'm hearing slightly different tune now. That's where that question was coming from. I have a lot of summon token. The platform is live. I've had no governance. I get all the emails. I read all the emails. I've not heard any call for governance from summon token holders or anything.
Because there's no question, there's nothing out for vote right now, Lido.
If you look in the platform,
Yeah, my point here is there seems like
one of the things that we'll be doing today is getting the Summon platform community set up within the platform so that you'll be able to go and see the community. And yeah, there will be polls that we'll issue, and with the way that the platform's set up, anyone could go and propose a poll, and then one of the community managers will.
Okay, let's contrast this with Liquid. Okay, even before Liquid launched, they had some community polling that was from there. However, they did that little pseudo governance thing, right? And it wasn't great. It wasn't on chain, right? But there was an attempt to involve some of those people, right? That's all. That's the only place my question was coming from. This is not that the decision is bad, just that, what happened to the governance part of this, right? So just.
Yeah, but Liquid was doing like questions before we were like putting a product, basically. I don't know. It's like
Again, Jenny,
I get it.
I'm not saying
I do. I'm not saying I don't.
Right?
I'm saying
So this is
what I'm saying is it's like a different way of doing it, right? They're like putting the product out, and now
and again, going back to expectation, right? TCT used to give people shit about how to run these things. And so that's part of why I feel like I have to give him shit about it too now, because now he's on the other side of that. He's on the hot seat of actually having to build these products, right? So here is my next question that you guys always give people shit about. Now that Summon is on mainnet, what validators are involved, what smart contracts are involved? Where can we see those validator scripts?
Yeah, those are open source. Liquid Labs is the one who holds the repository for Agora.
Oh, Riley, I don't want to interrupt you, but can you just like adjust the mic? It's like I can barely hear you, man, and I really want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah,
one of my headphones went through the wash recently, and I think it's destroyed. I think I need to just get rid of my headphones.
That's better.
So
yes, thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, I think that to say with regards to validators, we are going to have Agora on testnet shortly. If you've played around with the platform on testnet, then you know we don't have Agora live there yet. And then we will be moving it to mainnet once we're happy with the user experience on testnet. But currently, we do not have Agora in the platform. And so there are native scripts, which are not Plutus scripts. They're native scripts, right? It's the same technology that Roundtable uses for multi-sigs. And then we have this polling mechanism that uses signatures. So there's no validator included in that. And something that we're going to be adding as a a feature in the near future is the ability to either export the results of your poll after it's concluded, or actually post those results on chain. And that's going to be something that's available. But yeah,
I think you misunderstood my question, Riley. So not so much about the community features. I'm talking about Summon itself.
Are you talking about
right?
like Summon
So,
as a DAO? Because again, I think
no, not a DAO. Summon as a thing that's powered by a smart contract that might
Agora,
have
yeah,
effects based off of
Agora
votes.
is the smart contract suite that
To power Summon itself or to power community stuff. Like, for example, the fee structure, would that be hooked into Agora at some point? Or no?
Currently it is not. Currently we will be looking to collect sentiment via the polling mechanism that we have, and then from that sentiment we can move on with the decisions that were made, so long as there's nothing illegal, right? We're not going to sort of go outside of jurisdictional boundaries and do things that are illegal as a team just because the community wants us to. Sorry. But when it comes to things that are allowed, we'll be collecting sentiment. We will be doing what we can to honor what the community wants. And then as time moves forward and we get some of those features within the platform for communities to leverage with Agora, and some of the UX functionality that we want to have around that for like community management, we can use some of those features within Summon itself to manage the platform. So yes, that will happen. That's definitely not something that we are launching live with today.
That makes sense. What's up, Rakshan?
I'm just curious, Adam spoke a little bit having to do with the fee structure and the reduction in fee if you're a Summon holder. Are there going to be thresholds as far as the amount of Summon token held, things of that nature, which also obviously promotes long-term holding of the Summon token itself?
So what we're going to be going out with today, there's a fee structure that we kind of worked up as a team, and this is what Lida was just saying, why didn't we have a vote on it? I think one of the first things that we're going to do outside of handling any launch issues, like I said, we're going to get the Summon community set up within the platform and have that as the sort of first verified community. And then we will definitely be open to basically whatever kind of discussions that people would like to have around that type of thing. Certain thresholds for either holding or staking or whatever it is that people are doing. And like I said, as long as that fits within sort of the regulatory requirements that we have for the token, then we would be happy to oblige. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Ar. Yeah, I'm just looking for ways to use the Summon token to the best of my ability within projects that I might be a part of, or projects that, I might...
You're looking to
right,
degen, Barkrai. It's okay. You can say it.
Well, Lido, it's important that, like you and I both are both Summon holders. So, we want to make sure that we can access it, one, and then also be able to benefit others through it, which I think could be one of the more, the cooler things to be able to do with having that Summon token in your wallet, So personally, that's I think very important.
Okay, well, I would be remiss if I don't give you an opportunity to do the takeaways that people should take from this little conversation. And then people who are going to use the system later today, where can they go to get help and all that stuff?
The best helpline is probably going to be Discord. And we will put out an announcement as soon as we've sort of got the... as soon as we've deployed the front end to the current DNS location, basically. You'll be able to go to app.summonplatform.io to reach the app. Right now, if you go there, it'll just basically say, hey, you can go see our Twitter. There's not any way to access the app via that link currently, but later today, you'll be able to go to that site, app.summonplatform.io, and reach our mainnet deployment of the platform.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo that. Discord is the best way to basically keep in touch with us. You can also send us a DM through Twitter if you want to do that, and we can get back to you a little slower. I appreciate you putting us in the hot seat, Lido. It's always fun to have this back and forth. I see the other teams get it, so it's good to get have to keep up on our jobs too.
And just for the record, I do hold a large sum of Summon, okay? So I'm not like trying to fuck the project or anything.
He's like, my bags, my bags.
It's not even my bags. It's about, I bought in as an investment into an idea. I'm trying to protect that idea. That's all.
Not protecting his bag. He's protecting the idea.
The idea, exactly. I mean, I could have bought other things. Summon is not a pump my bag token. It's actually a risky investment thing. Like
we're also investing in the team and the ideal, right? Because I did as well. And the team and the ideal and the work they put into it. And we all know how hard they work, right? Which is the other part about that. So we'll see evidence over time.
Yeah, and working hard is one thing. But again, when TCT was most member of this show, we were both hounding projects about doing things the right way, right? And so to me, I've always seen Summon as one project that's going to come out and do things the right way and not take a lot of the same shortcuts that other teams take. Right?
So don't you think, though, that they should also practice pragmatism and understand what
there's
they're
a balance.
with, right?
There's a balance, but that balance doesn't come if there's no Lido asking the question. Right.
No, Lido's saving today.
He just spoke of himself in the third person.
Oh my God, Lido.
Hey guys, I just want to say, as I've already said, I appreciate you guys keeping us on our toes. And we don't see when we put out this token, we don't see it as putting out an investment. We're not asking for you to just put blind trust in us. We really mean, this is a utility token. We have taken the right steps to do the right things to make this compliant with Swiss law, right? We got the legal opinion that told us this is what you need to do to make sure that this token will be giving people access to your platform. If you have this token, it gets you to, it gives you a features on Summon that are valuable and that you will want to use. So that's why we're doing it, because we want to provide something of substance to the community. And, thank you for giving us the opportunity to show that to everyone.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks for coming. Looking forward to the launch. I'm primarily interested in managing my community of delegators on there, so I'll probably be hounding you about stake pool specific features.
Yeah, and in fact, I want to make one more announcement that we haven't put out there yet, but we have already as a team decided that we are going to be giving free community verification to single stake pool operators. So if you're a member of the Single Stake Pool Alliance, if you're a single stake pool operator, we're going to give you free verification because we think that you're an important part of the ecosystem and we don't, need to take an extra fee for that. And there may or may not be a certain four-legged project head that has contributed something to that effort as well. That is yet to come. So be on the lookout. Follow.
A little alpha there.
Twitter
you dog.
If you want to know more.
I want to ask you guys before you leave, because something that interests me is the idea of proof of attendance. How would that work with Summon?
I do not know how that would work at this time. That's something we'd probably have to build.
Got it. Because I think that's actually very, very cool feature and something that we need.
Yeah, if I may, I kind of walked out of Wi-Fi. I don't know if you can hear me, but that's something that we could definitely think about integrating, right? It would be pretty cool, and it would probably be pretty simple. There might be better ways, but you could simply, like they do POAPs, right? Like during Cardano over coffee, we could mention a specific code or word that if you went and typed into the platform, you got issued a POAP, right? Or some kind of NFT.
Right. Yeah. simple solution like that will work because a lot of the automated ones that involve social media is getting a big stick up gap backside with the new Elon Musk Twitter API cash grab. So, and a lot of crypto community is on Twitter. So unless your team is gonna sign up for paying like hundreds of dollars a month for API access, some of those nice automation thing of signing with the Twitter, maintaining NFT might be a little hard to do, or just expensive.
So did you guys talk about? I might have missed it. Did you guys talk about competition at all? Because I mean, I always like to ask what separates you from the competition. Because obviously it's a competitive market. There are others like Clarity and others that are doing those things, and you don't need to speak badly or any of that stuff. It's just more so what will Summon DAO bring that maybe others wouldn't?
Yeah, I think if you look at Summon, right, I think if you look at other projects, they're sort of picking one thing, right? Whether it's voting or the Agora contracts, and that's what they're building the platform around. Whereas Summon, we're trying to put everything in one place, right? We're not trying to make it just a voting platform, just a DAO platform. We're trying to make it a place where any project on Cardano could easily manage their project and then do all of those things from one place.
What? Yeah, we need to get Clarity on here because I have a lot of hot questions for them too. And I didn't even get to Summon and like being able to export and extract from the platform, all of that jazz. But another day. Excited for the launch.
Thanks for listening to Cardano Over Coffee. Remember to join us live on Twitter Spaces Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1:30 p.m. UTC.